Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tuning the Podcast. It's been a while since I recorded anything because I'm lazy, but my most listened to episodes this far was our stripped episode, so I had to have my friend Steve back, and so he's back this episode.
Hi.
It came up a few weeks ago that he's never listened to Liberation in its entirety, so that's what we're going to go through today's episode. We're going to listen to each track and get his, perspective on what he thinks of it.
I'm excited. I haven't listened to any of them. I think I heard Fall in Line, but I barely remember it.
Do you remember any of the performances?
All I remember is that her face did not look right.
It didn't.
So I'm glad she looks better now.
She definitely reverse aged.
I swear I'm a fighter.
I feel like it's a good thing. Like most of the fighters online don't want to critique. You have. I feel like you're a real fan. You have to be able to tell her the truth.
Her love is in my heart. It's unconditional.
Yeah, right. Her face did not look well then. I feel like she was bloated.
And she had bad filler.
Totally. But it's okay. We're up on a new era almost. I feel like she comes out with a new album. You know, she takes her little break. And Liberation was similar to Lotus, which is similar to Bionic, which is similar to whatever. You know, she comes up with a marketing plan, a strategy, and just like, oh, this is my new album. This is me. In this instance, it was, liberating herself from what she tied. But that was what Stripped was. Stripping herself of all the things.
That's her whole motif.
It's at least she's consistent with that. Also, Lotus was kind of shedding. I don't know what she was trying to do with that. I feel like that was just not a cash grab, but just a way, each one of the voice artists had to come up with an album or something.
Lotus is another album I have not heard.
Okay, well,
but in my opinion, that's the best she ever looked because she was so voluptuous.
I think Aguilera was her best voluptuous. But we'll get onto that in the next.
Another album I have not heard.
What? Really?
I barely listened to anything after Stripped. Uh-huh. Well, Back to Basics, I did that. Then nothing until I met you and I got into Bionic.
Oh, yeah.
Let me put our pizza on.
Okay. Please hold, or please listen to these ads while he puts our pizza in. This episode is brought to you by my normal job because I don't have sponsors. Please sponsor me. Happened here. Hopefully I can get rid of it in post-production. But if you hear rumbling and tumbling, it's my laundry. I'm doing it at his apartment. Now we're back to recording.
We're starting with the first song?
Yes. Okay, so this one she was very happy with, she loves an interlude / intro. And so that's what we're going to begin with. Liberation. Okay, thoughts. I feel like she was very happy with her intros. We didn't get one. We got two back to back before we got to the album.
This is the weakest I've heard so far when it comes to her intros.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed her intros before. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But who is she talking to? Who is she telling to remember? Is it her inner child?
Yes.
And was that her kid laughing?
Oh, I don't know if it was her kid, but yes, it was a child.
That's a very singer thingy to their children.
Especially, all of them do it. For the marketing for Liberation, she had a whole promo video, and it was kind of her. It's supposed to be behind the scenes, her looking at different journals and finding that inner child and want to do music and find reignited with that creative inspiration. Mm-hmm. And so she was looking for that little girl who her sanctuary was music. And so she's where are you? And
remember.
Yes. Which segues into Maria. Maria is her middle name.
Oh.
And
Christina Maria Aguilera.
Yeah. And it's so weird that
CMA Country Music Awards.
It's so it's so weird that people still question, that she was half Latino.
I mean the Aguilera part.
Yeah.
Well, she was singing the song from Sound of Music, right?
Yes. Okay, so that's also because as a child, whenever she suffered from abuse and everything, her sanctuary wasn't just music, but specifically the Sound of Music. She even said that as a child, she would open her windows and she would sing out of her window, but also to her teddy bears, they were her audience, and she would sing the Sound of Music. She could relate to feeling trapped. But her release was
that she was bond trapped.
Yes. And so I think that's really sweet. I think most of the hardcore fans would get that, that's why she was singing that in Maria, the intro. But for the casual listener, they're why is she singing, Sound of Music?
I love how she's making it personal.
Yes. And it's also nice because like towards the end it has that like echo and until it like crescendos to the first song, which we'll get into next.
Oh, it feels like an intro rather than actual song, like an elongated intro.
Yeah.
There was like really no, it was missing a hook, in my opinion.
No, I get it. And I totally agree. A lot of people love this song, like fans, and I actually don't. There were so many things about the song. Where do we begin? She's been a fan of Kanye since like forever. One of the big things for Bionic, a lot of people don't know, is that she was really inspired by his heartbreaks and 808s. And that kind of like how he dealt with like sonically and like also visually how he presented things. So she wanted to work with him for a long time, and then she finally was able to. But it turns out, at least this is how they spun it towards when the beginning of marketing the album, because the first single for Liberation was Accelerate, and that was produced by Kanye West. And
it wasn't Fall in Line?
No. So it was Accelerate. She was really excited, came out, and we'll get to the critique of that later. But in the promo, she kind of like mentioned that it was Kanye West production, and she was really excited about, production and everything. But this is also the time separately when Kanye was spiraling. This is like the very beginning of spiraling. And so instead, and this is whenever also he was very supportive of Trump. And so she instead, I don't know if it was like actually true or not, but it might be because, sometimes producers have like other producers that they kind of work in tandem with. So she was spinning it that like she worked with Kanye, but also the team to come up with the songs that they worked together on. So this was one of them. And so instead of saying that it was exclusively her production with Kanye, she said it was the team.
It's beautifully produced.
I think it is clunky. I feel like it's a wall of sound.
It's a lot.
There's too many things. I think also, while I appreciate the Michael/Jackson 5 input.
I was getting a Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I think that's like, it's too literal because, her name's Maria, but I think the sample was too literal. Also because of how he was like, I don't want to say it's wailing in like that kind of way, but it does come off with like jarring because it's in the background. He's like, Maria, like screeching. But also, one other thing I'd like to think that they were thoughtful about was that this is kind of like the first intro in the album, and the harpsichord, which is like super prominent in the song, it kind of alludes to Jeannie, because Jeannie has a harpsichord. But I don't want to give them that much credit because even she's admitted it. She's not that like as decent. She's not a Taylor Swift where every little piece is put together.
I get it.
Her own word. She even specifically, not Taylor Swift, but she even said that she's not that like thought out.
Putting the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I do hear it sounds like a long intro, like I said, but also it's giving me musical. So I'm getting kind of Greatest Showman. Like I feel like it should end up on the Greatest Showman soundtrack. Yes. It's giving me that. I've never seen it.
You never?
No. But that Greatest Showman song, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, which how everything is happening all at once and it's going through these phases. It's not really giving me pop song, which is supposed to be, and I feel like it's very skippable. Totally.
And obviously it's not catchy like a pop song. But I feel like it's also not like where she wants it to be, like R&B or like hip hop wise.
There is a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts as well.
Agree to agree.
Yes. Next song is Sick of Sitting. Hours later, just to do a listening party. And so now we're back with our final verdict. And he's heard all of the songs for the first time. So, where do you want to start?
We finished Maria, so it's Sick of Sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Sick of Sitting and Fall in Line are related, and similar to Maria, I feel like there was so much going on in both. A lot of words, and both lacking really a hook, like a pop hook. So things get mushy over each other, and maybe like with multiple listens I would like it more, but there was so much. And like, I love Christina, but sometimes she does too much screaming, in my opinion, which I love her screaming, but I also like pacing, and I like tease me a little bit to get to it, but it feels like from the start she was screaming. So much so that like threw me off. But I love the harmonies with Demi Lovato.
That's a Fallen Line.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I jumped. But I feel like their voices harmonize very well. But this could wait. I feel like there is like so much focus on the message. Great message. But great message doesn't make great song.
For Sega City?
Yes.
Okay, so that one, will go just because that one was inspired. She was inspired by Janis Joplin for that one, and
I wrote funky.
I guess they get like she had that like rough vocal, but it was about the voice and how she was sick of singing, how she felt really stifled, and it has similar themes to like Fall in Line because of just feeling constrained.
This changes a little bit of my opinion of the song when it's focused on the voice, because I feel like your experience on a TV show can't be that dramatic to the point where you compare things to slavery. I always feel iffy about comparisons to slavery. I
totally agree that the slavery line is kind of like could have done without it, because also like you also made a ton of money off that. And I get that maybe she was being stifled with like having to follow these certain rules or being painted as the bad person on the show, but
and I was on her side. Like I was never on Melanie Martinez's side, so.
Let's not even get to that. I thought you were going to say, what's his name, Marine 5?
I don't believe in him. He doesn't exist in my world.
That's true. But for Sega Sitting, one of my favorite lines, I like the song. It's okay. One of my favorite lines is whenever she has that vocal, or when she's speaking it, I don't tell anybody to sit down. I just encourage everybody else to stand up. And I love that.
Hey, she's always about empowerment.
Yeah.
Which these two songs are all about.
Yeah.
So I like so it's a very Christina thing.
Mm-hmm. Briefly, I'm going to touch on Dreamers, which I think the intention was cute. I also think it's super cringe. And like even her daughters in one of them, and like the nieces or whoever, like relatives, they're all in there, and it's like it's a cute message because they want these girls to dream big, aspire to be whatever they want to do. Yes. But I'm just like, could have done without it, especially because we already had the two intros already. It's like, no.
3 in my opinion, if you're including Maria.
Yes. So could have done without it, for sure. And then I guess you want to go into Fall in Line?
It's the same to Sick of Sitting, where it's very similar. It's not clean, like, so many words. Again, focus on the message more than anything. Beautiful message. It's very Christina in the sense she's always about female empowerment. I don't know if maybe it was timely in 2018 more than now.
Well, even before then, they were like writing the song, but apparently like it was super relevant then. They were pushing it because that whole that's when Me Too was getting like
that makes sense.
Prominent.
I remember the commotion when it was coming out and how like it was a big deal, and I can see it in the lyrics. So yes, I enjoyed it. I would say.
I think it's okay.
And
no, actually, I don't think it's okay. I think if I had to get a letter grade, I would just give it a C.
I would give it a C.
Okay, because a C for Christina. But I thought it was interesting because they didn't meet until like when they were recording the music video. But as a true fighter, I have the original like demo of the song where it's just Christina singing both the verses. And so like I'm sure she just sent that to Demi, and Demi just like put her little sauce on that second verse.
I wouldn't have missed Demi, to be honest. Like I don't think she brought a Demi-ness to the song.
No.
But I enjoyed their harmonies though.
They did. Yeah, they did harmonize well. But then like towards the end it's kind of like a screeching battle. And
I love a screeching battle though.
I don't know, it felt completely different from like where another like screeching battle, if you will, was like Lady Marmalade. No, it complemented them well, and this one just felt like, exhausting. Especially because another thing was that I think some of the lyrics are kind of clunky. It's like beholden, and also maybe like the phrasings are kind of like awkward.
I focus on the message more than writing the song.
Yeah. An interesting fact is that one of the writers, I think not just, I don't know if she wrote alone, but it was Elle King.
Oh.
If you are aware of any other songs. I know if she has one song, it's probably...
The daughter of Rob Schneider.
Yes.
I don't like her dad.
I agree. I will note that they did sing it once together, and it was at the Billboard Music Awards, and that was a awful performance. I'm thinking about doing a I haven't seen that performance in a long time, but I am thinking about doing a reaction video to that, so look for that.
I want to also say that previously I have mentioned how I wanted her to make a rock album. Listening to this is making me change my mind. Because if what we're gonna get is a very funky, this is Janis Joplin inspired type of rock, that's not my thing. So maybe it'll be great, but if it's this...
Oh, like Sick of Sitting?
Yeah. It will not be my cup of tea, so...
Okay, so next up is Right Moves. What are your thoughts after first listen?
It's okay. I enjoyed the parts by the other people than her. Her part was the weakest. I think the other two singers / rappers did so much better. So if the song did not have her, it would have been better.
She was a great feature, which is so crazy because every time she's featured on somebody else's, it becomes her song. But this time she did feel like it was like weak, and it was like, where did this fit sonically within this album? It was just like a random like reggae island song. It was
not my favorite style. Really came out of nowhere.
It feels like a throwaway, like filler. I put that the collaboration was okay, and I feel like it was a bit of ahead of time because both of them at the time I'd never heard of. And I remember looking it up at that time in 2018, and I could find minimal information, and most of it was like on one of the artists, Shensia, and the other one. It was like MIA. It was like, who is this person? I feel like because they're the way they sound and the way they like rap or sing, it is hard to distinguish the two. And I didn't even notice until like right now when I was looking at the lyrics, like who sang which verse of the two. So they kind of melded each other, which is good. I feel like it would be fine if it was their own songs.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar with their voices, so I couldn't distinguish the two.
It's a skip for me.
Totally a skip. And then eventually Shensia became like a bigger thing in the US, but at the time she was like a nobody. So I feel like she tries to be ahead of the curve, maybe unintentionally or whatever, but also maybe they were like affordable at the time to like feature.
I believe that Christina put her all in this song.
Yeah,
it's
definitely a skip.
No for me, dog.
No for me. Okay, what did you think of Like I Do?
The first thing that stood out for me was the Marvin Gaye line. I hate that Marvin Gaye line.
What? Really?
I've heard it in so many songs.
No, it's true.
Before that one song that made it the chorus, I feel like it's very commonly used, but that's not what turned me off of the song. It's just not it. But I enjoyed her harmonies with herself. Very Brandy.
Okay.
I like it. I like how her voice harmonizes with itself whenever she's doing her backing as well.
Yeah.
But I like the idea. It's very Christina in the shut up type of like dominatrix energy that she has.
It's like cat and mouse kind of thing. It's like a flirtation.
That's very her, but it's missing the hook. Too wordy. Everything is too wordy. But that's the theme of that album.
Apparently, so far. I thought, for me, this felt like the turning point. Because I didn't really care, nothing was super strong and up until this point. I think this one could have been a good, like, summer, like, easy song. Still not, like, it was not going to be an espresso. But I think it could have been a cool, like, summer song, but it wasn't pushed well. Eventually, like, they did push it for it to get nominated in, like, a collaborative, like, Grammy category. It did lose, of course.
Do you remember who won?
No, I can't remember. I feel like it was up against somebody big. For some reason, I think it was like the Carters because it came out around the time. So yeah, you were gonna lose. For me, it's kind of like an underrated bop. I do love the back and forth that she does with I think Goldlink. Also
with him.
Random, but the single artwork, like she looks super good. I'll have to like put an image up on the video or something. But she looked really pretty, super hot.
I love that for her.
But yeah, for me, this one was like the turning point of the album. On to the next one, which was Deserve.
I forgot. I know we just listened to it, but it really did not stick at all. But I felt the only thing I have is like that she's stuck on the message, which really feels like the whole album so far has been really like I have a message and I want to say it, and musicality or like songs come second. That's how I felt.
Oh my gosh. For me, it was like one of my favorite songs on the album. because I think like the just the relatability of the like subject matter. You know, one person not feeling like they're good enough for the other partner, and I think her voice intermingles with, I don't know how to say it, but it's like Mnek, M-N-E-K.
M-N-E-K.
Okay.
Is that who it was?
Yes. So actually,
I like him in general.
He is a writer of the song along with Julia Michaels, and I remember seeing like some random like interview or something, and then he was quoted as saying like it was weird that, you know, because he's super prominent, like they didn't get rid of his vocals. She's kind of like co-singing with him, that he wasn't featured as a like featured artist. But you know, it is what it is. I thought it was an emotional song, and it's honest. For me, I related to it because it's kind of like about the strife of being like anxiously attached. If you're into the attachment theory, you know, I encourage you to look up anxiously attachment. And I loved her delivery.
I really can't remember how it sounded.
It's the one that's like, sometimes I don't think I deserve you.
Yeah, it didn't leave an impression.
Okay, that's fine. Let's go on to the next one, which is Twice.
I want to apologize to all the fighters.
Yeah, it's okay. He's dead to me.
Oh my god. I enjoyed it a little bit. I got bothered by the lack of, I don't know what you call it, but whenever she's like, am I devil? Am I angel? Mm-hmm. Like, why is it no, am I a devil or the devil? I didn't like that.
Oh god. On the articles, you're getting hung up on articles of speech.
Again, it felt like it's lacking a hook for me. It did not hook me. So these, like, I guess the two mushed together, and it felt like it really focused on, again, the message.
Gosh. For me, it's a beautiful fall song. I love her delivery, and I love the duality and about, you know, is she a devil or an angel, of dealing with, it's about a previous relationship and having to accept like what they went through, but whether or not it was like difficult and hard. And I feel like it's something that I can relate to, but it's something that they would have done again. And I love that that's what she ends on. It's like, but I would do it all again and I wouldn't think twice because it was worth it.
The message.
I think this was like one of the ones that was kind of like a promo single. So she kind of like threw it out there and it was kind of haphazard. And I remember like, oh, are they going to promote it or not? And so she just uploaded it with, I think it was on YouTube at the time. And I liked it then. I love it now. And like, I still to this day like watch random, I think it's I forgot where she was, but it was on the Liberation tour. She had a lot of fun with this song. And she's like playful with it and just like really, I'll attach it in the show notes. But this particular one, she's like asking the audience to pardon her because she's having like a husky voice for this particular like environment. I guess it was like more humid, but she like leans into it and her like range is so good.
I feel like both this song and the one before it, maybe they're the type that would grow on you. Mm-hmm. And do you remember if both of them have stuck with you from the first listen, or was it more of a grower?
I think there's a lot of growers on this album, actually, because I forget about how much I love Deserve and Twice. And there's another one later on, but I forget that that's one of my favorite songs of Christina's. But yes, Twice is probably like, that's a solid Christina song for me. Yeah.
I'm not saying, so they didn't leave an impression. I'm not saying I won't listen to them again on a first go. It wasn't much.
Okay, that's fair.
I swear I'm a fighter.
Apparently not. He apparently just wants to be on this podcast so he can trash talk Christina.
No!
But we can be objective. It's fine. We get better with criticism. I don't need it anymore. It's the interlude before Accelerate. It's a nice callback to Sick of Sittin' because it's like the back, I don't know, it's not like a pre-chorus, but whatever. It's just not the strongest rhyme, I guess.
That's
Eyes wide
my
open.
favorite out of all the intros or interludes.
And I could have done without it, but whatever. Accelerate. It was the primary single for the album. I feel like it was confusing. It's a bop.
It was confusing.
It's a bop but it's for sure the biggest grower.
I can see it growing because on a first listen, I was like, "What is this?"
Yes. It is chaotic just because I feel like the production does have quite a bit going on. And this is the second one that's produced by Kanye and The Collective, not just Kanye, to clarify. The video made no sense. It was sexy to just be sexy.
The song is about sex, so it makes sense.
But it had nothing to do with, it was just random, like, scenes of her. There was one where there was like goop and she was like pouring it all over her and she was like licking her lips and there was like glitter all over the place and it was gross. I was like, and it wasn't telling us the story, but that's a different criticism. It was sexualized for no reason. It's a bop and it's underperformed by her, I think.
I understand why.
I think it's clunky just because, like, the delivery, it's very choppy. And I think that's what, it doesn't immediately catch you. I think one of the things, like we were talking earlier, ran separately from this podcast, that espresso, it just has it's like an earworm. It has like that melody that's kind of like...
It has a hook.
Yes. And I feel like that's maybe like not her strongest, especially so far on this album. Apparently for you.
No, because there's too many words and I feel maybe some editing would have helped. I think, was it 2 Chainz who rapped or was that
2 Chainz? Ty Dolla $ign was the one screeching in between. Okay. And I do not stand his screeching.
The 2 Chainz part I liked. I was like, that's a cute verse.
I agree.
And maybe because it sounded more contained than the rest of the song.
Yeah, because there is a lot going on. And then there's not, because they have 2 features. The song's not that long. And there's not enough of Christina. It's like she's a feature on her own song. So that's why it was kind of jarring when it first came out. Yeah, I did not care for Ty Dolla $ign. His voice is kind of just too much.
I'm not a mumble rap person in general, so maybe that's part of it.
And I didn't get, like, I don't know, like...
Their voices did not mesh very well.
Very harsh. I think also, like, what was the theme? Or, like, obviously it was accelerate / alluding to sex on a, like, motorway, kind of like, speedway, like, but why that theme? But we'll get to that sexy. Shortly, also. And then, she comes back after the features to just woo to the end.
A Christina special.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the wooing.
Yeah, it was okay, but I was like, she didn't say enough words in the song.
No.
Give us some words. And that's all you had for...
Yes.
Okay.
Not a lot. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay, so the next one was Pipe.
My favorite in the whole album.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
It's the most solid out of all the songs. Again, it was too wordy, but at least I feel like you had a chorus that sounded like a chorus, and not like, is this a verse? So you can like get hooked on it, like what's coming in a way, so it feels contained. Also, I loved how she softened her voice for it. It added to the sensuality of the song. And whenever she ended up like giving more vocally, like it fits that there's some sort of growth rather than the whole time she's given it 100. Like the giving layers really helped. And whomever rapped was nice at the end.
We'll get to that shortly. But I agree. It's one of my favorites. It's on this album. And it's always a bop. And it was in a lot of the promo for this album. And it's fun and sexy. There's one line I don't understand why it was included, because this is after, I feel like, the whole R. Kelly movement. And like he's already been tried, and it wasn't just accusations. It was like he was guilty. Why they would include the line, you remind me of my Jeep, which is a line from his song, You Remind Me of Something. So I thought that was really trashy. I want her to go back and edit it out. I want somebody who's listening to this podcast to reach out to Christina, tell her to fix that line and sing it live. And also remove it from the, like, because I don't know why you would do that. Why would you allude to anything R. Kelly? Because that's like so crazy.
I'm not so familiar with R. Kelly's work, so I did not get that reference.
A lot of people didn't. It's fine. It's cool. And also, it's like an album track, and so it wasn't like a huge promo for it. But I think it's you're right, how you said, Her delivery is really like understated and it's like soothing. It's very like, it has a good melody.
I like whenever she shows range in that way. Like we're always so used to her showing range as in like how much she can belt.
Yes.
Right? But sometimes I like whenever she gives different
understated
levels. Yeah, because that's talent.
And so the rapper XNDA is Lewis Hamilton, who, if you don't know who he is, he's a very attractive man. But apparently he rides a car.
Don't ask me.
He drives.
Is it Formula One? Is it Indy 5000? I don't know. It's car racing.
Car racing, yes. So he races cars, but apparently he also raps whenever you need him to rap. I don't know. I want to know like how that came about. Like, okay, so also because Accelerate was the first single, it's funny because she did the promo and she appeared at Formula One and she kind of did like, photo shoots and whatever. And of course, like people wanted to see her. I forget if it was in Monaco or something like that, but she went to Formula One, which is really, she doesn't really do a bunch of promo. And it was weird that she went there. And then I wonder, at this point, they started promoting the album. So she had already had to met Lewis Hamilton. So like, why all of these kind of like allusions to like motor speedways, formula, whatever? And how did all these collaborations come about? He's not bad for what he does. He's pretty good. He did like this whole like kind of like Drake rap singy kind of thing. And then
gave younger than what he actually is.
Really?
I think so. Like the rapping, I was like, oh, who's this like young rapper who's just starting?
Yes. I don't know how old he is.
Because of that one line where he's like, I'm grown. I was like, not knowing it's Lewis Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you are a grown man.
Oh,
Why are you singing this part? But I enjoyed it.
So whenever, so it was like a lot of speculation. People didn't know who he was. Also, it wasn't like a big like single, so nobody cared. But
it should have been.
It should have, but it should have been a good. It's a lovely song. It's like super sexy. But eventually, he did put it on his stories on Instagram, and I'll read it for you. What he put was, "I had this incredibly beautiful and talented person reach out to me a while back, asking me to be on her album. I was so blown away, and I jumped at the opportunity. I had 2 hours to write the short verse and record. The goal was to have the song come out under a different name so that you could hear the music first and later know it was me. But it didn't work out the way I had planned. I shied away from acknowledging it was me. I don't know why. Maybe insecurities, fear, overthinking, something many people can relate to. Well, I want to say that XNDA is me, and I am so honored and grateful to xtina for giving me a place to use my voice. I have so much gratitude and respect for her and what she's done in the business." And then #pipe.
Whoa. The way he's revealing it makes it sound like he's Lady Whistledown or something like
Lady
that.
Whistledown?
like it's such a gossip girl. And like now he's revealing who it is.
Like,
I wonder how many people wondered if it's him.
Lady Whistledown. Oh, I love it. Okay, so the next up, Masochist.
I don't care for the message. One thing I liked about it was that she gave us layers.
Yeah.
She gave us like a little slower, then scream, then slow down.
Yeah.
So we got that.
It was dynamic. A whole range.
Yes. But I felt like maybe it's a mixing issue where I felt like the music was like really in the back. It was giving karaoke in that way where like whenever you do karaoke, you hear the music in the background, and the vocals are above them. So I don't know. It didn't feel like connected.
I don't care for the words. I think she did the best vocally with what she had. I don't like the production. Something about it just seemed really like generic. Like I could find that on the royalty-free like website. Sonically, it's weird. Like it doesn't fit in. It's kind of like that Shinsia Right Moves song. Like what the heck? Like, I feel like she was doing a lot, especially because we go from a Sittin', which is like more rock tinged. We go to the island. Nothing's pure pop here. So, but she's also not doing one justice, I guess.
But it's her, so she needs a ballad in here. And this is where we get these two songs, because ballads.
Yes, which leads us to our final song, Unless It's With You.
I liked it. Problem I had with it, though, is, was she happy? Is this supposed to be a happy ballad?
Yes, it is.
Because I didn't get that. Like, there were moments where I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a happy ballad. But then her tone was so dour. A song that I get reminded of whenever like I think of a song that is supposed to be happy, but like the vocals are not giving happy, is "No One" by Alicia Keys.
Oh, I hate that song.
Where it's like, oh, when you hear the lyrics, you're like, oh, this is a joyous song, and maybe even the piano is giving happy, but her voice is giving
aggravated, like
sad. And here there are like a few moments where I'm like, oh, I can see like kind of like the energy you get with a soar, right? But then like it still goes down to
me, this is the most beautiful song in the world. It's strong, and it's like such a strong ballad. It's probably one of my favorite songs of Christina Aguilera. It should be a favorite for like the wedding circuit, because I feel like it's, you know, more so somebody who's been hurt in the past, that they're unsure up to this point of meeting this current person. They didn't want to be married. They were fine with how things were and everything in their life. But it's kind of expressing this idyllic like way. Like, I didn't want to do any of this stuff, but I met you, and I don't want to do any of this unless it's with you. I don't want to be married unless it's with you. It doesn't matter about like all the pomp and circumstance. Just you and me and a couple of friends. And I think it's so sweet. It's going to be my wedding song. Whenever I find a boyfriend, just let him know.
I do like the lyrics here, but yeah, there are moments where I think had she not made it sound as sad, it would have fit better. But also it has the same problem that Masochist had, which is the mixing really puts the music really, I feel like, in the back. I know I sound like I know what I'm talking about, when obviously I don't, but something about it feels separated between the music and the vocals for these two songs, and I don't know why. Which I think is making this weaker than it should have been. Otherwise, I think it would have been a better take on The Perfect Man.
Yeah. Oh, Perfect Man.
Her song.
The Right Man.
The Right Man. Is it not The Perfect Man?
The Right Man from Back to Basics. We'll cover that next time, or on another episode. But yes, she does have like a lot of this, you know, because like once again, she's happy and she's in that very like romantic, lovey-dovey like environment. But this time, you know, she's less sure of it. Whereas before she was like sure, like you're the right man. And I love that song too. But this one, it's like, I love it. It has like that bit of, not sad, I don't think it's sadness, but I think it's just like realistic. Like, you've been hurt before, but you just want to like be optimistic and believe in love with this person. Makes me want to find love right now.
So, what are your top 3 songs?
My top 3 songs?
Yes, the album.
Instantly, Unless It's With You. I'm going to go ahead and say Pipe because I love it. And then a toss-up between Deserve or Twice, but I'm going to say Twice. Yes.
For me, Pipe is number 1. 2 would be Unless It's With You.
Okay.
And my third pick was Fall in Line.
Oh, okay.
But also, I don't remember a lot of what I heard today.
Oh my gosh.
And I was taking notes.
Well, there you have it. That's Steve's perspective on liberation for the first time.
Let's see how if the fighter community have kicked me out.
Yeah.
I'll be down for Lotus.
I think he may or may not have a hit on his head after this episode. Let us know in the comments what you think about Liberation. What are your favorite tracks? And, you know, objectively, what are the weaker like tracks? What do you think could have improved? Hopefully she sees these. Also, tell her to change that line in the R. Kelly line. Okay, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Stay beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.